guys, welcome to another edition of What If WWE Edition. This being the What If Eddie Guerrero didn't pass away in 2005 of November 13th. Pretty much I'm going to be going through just maybe like a year or so worth of Eddie and just going from Survivor Series of 05 to just after WrestleMania and the rebirth of ECW. So, let's start off with Eddie, joining the Survivor Series team. Well, actually, let's do a little recap for younger fans who have not seen Eddie Guerrero or have not heard or watched what happened with his passing and everything. So, here's a little bit of the backstory. November 13th, 2005, Eddie Guerrero passed away due to heart failure and was alone in his hotel room. Chavo came and found him and unfortunately passed away. The next night on Raw, they do a tribute show to Eddie. Pretty much that whole week was a tribute show to Eddie, both Raw and SmackDown, which was really nice to see. And it was hard to watch as a fan. It really was. It's still, like, if you could find it on YouTube, the 3 Days Grace version of his tribute video, good God, it fucking brings a fucking tear to your eye and pulls your heartstrings and everything. So, they pretty much pushed Rey Mysterio to the fucking moon after Eddie's passing. Then Rey won the Royal Rumble. Rey went on to WrestleMania to win the World Heavyweight Championship. And they pretty much had Eddie Guerrero live vicariously through Rey Mysterio at this point. So there were rumored plans about Shawn and Eddie. I will definitely get into those as the video goes on. But I also want to go into what would happen if ECW was rebranded, if Eddie was still alive. Because I do believe that he could be a huge part of it. So, with that out of the way, and without further ado, here we go. What if Eddie Guerrero did not pass away in 2005? So the last match that Eddie had was at Survivor Series, or not Survivor Series, was a qualification match for the whole SmackDown vs. Raw Survivor Series team and bullshit that was going on in 05. So with that, it was him against Mr. Kennedy, and he won with the lie, cheat, and steal. And we're going to keep him going as a babyface, or tweener, whatever you want to call it. And it's interesting because they just got done with Eddie being a heel against Batista, and then was doing the tweener stuff with Batista, and then have him go on the SmackDown and be, partners with Rey and Lashley. And I really think that the team would have been Batista, Rey, Eddie, Lashley, and Orton. I don't think JBL would have been on the team. So we keep on going with that, and you start a storyline at Survivor Series with Michaels. Have it be Eddie, Orton, and Rey as the last three against Michaels, instead of it being JBL, Rey, and Orton against Michaels. Pretty much do the exact same until those four are in the ring, and then swap out JBL with Eddie. Have him try to lie, cheat, and steal for the win, and try to get rid of Michaels. Doesn't work. Gets caught. Gets super kicked. Eliminated. And then have him, start being like, I should have had that. I know I had that. Am I slipping? Am I losing it? Like, just, let him have that inner dialogue going back up the ramp. Then you have Michaels and Orton as the winners, and then continue on with that whole thing. Next month is Armageddon for SmackDown. Have him fight for the World Championship one more time. against Batista and be like, tell him, like, as a good guy, like, I need to prove to myself that I could beat you, Dave. I have to prove to myself that I could beat you, could beat Ray, could beat anybody, especially for that World Heavyweight Championship. And then have Eddie win. Have Eddie win the World Championship from Dave Batista. Because at this point, Dave is going to have the World Championship until he relinquishes it until January. So if we get it off him now and that injury happens with him and Ray, go right ahead. So Royal Rumble comes around. I'm not going to say who would win because that's neither here nor there at this point. But Eddie has a World Championship match against Dave. And Dave Batista wins the match and becomes the World Heavyweight Champion again, heading into WrestleMania. Therefore, whoever wins would fight either Cena or Batista, which makes sense because it's full circle from when Cena and Batista both won the World Championships. Now they both go into the next year's WrestleMania as the champions, and now their championship reigns could be threatened. Eddie puts himself in the Royal Rumble match. Now, as cool as that is, honestly, again, continue the storyline with Michaels. But now Michaels is in a storyline with Vince McMahon himself. So with that, you have it make it look like that Vince McMahon is a hired gun with Eddie Guerrero. Like, you have Eddie Guerrero be the hired gun for Vince. And in the middle of the match, when Shane would have eliminated Michaels, have it be Eddie after Eddie's already been eliminated by Michaels by a super kick over the top rope. So there you go. That's more seeds planting of Michaels and Eddie at WrestleMania. Then around February time, have a promo with Michaels in the ring. And have him be like, Eddie Guerrero? And this is at Saturday Night's Main Event before the WrestleMania, like a few weeks before or whatever. Eddie Guerrero, you have been a thorn in my side for the last few weeks. Because he's been calling him out and everything on SmackDown. So, he's called out. Eddie comes out, and now we have a promo battle that would be amazing between him and Michaels. Eddie's talking about how he was the Shawn Michaels of Mexico, and how he was the HBK of AAA and the HBK of WCW. But he just couldn't get that big break. He needed to be in the WWF or WWE. And then they both say how they're a man of God, and they fight for God, and they fight for honor, and they fight for this. And then Michaels brings up that you're fighting for Vince. Vince is not God. Vince is Lucifer himself. And you know what? Eddie goes, sometimes you need to make a deal with the devil to get what you want. And sucker punches Michaels right in the face. Like, that would just be gold. And there you have it, right there. The match is set. The next night on Raw, Vince McMahon goes, for the first time ever at WrestleMania, HBK Shawn Michaels versus Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero. Everyone pops. Michaels is just, he's a little bit livid because it's like, okay, you want to show me that you're the Michaels of your little organizations? Go ahead. Show me on the grandest stage of them all. Show me how you can compare to Mr. WrestleMania. And this is Michaels' promo on Raw, and Eddie's promo on SmackDown is just, Shawn, you don't get it. I have had so many addictions just like you. I've came back from those addictions. You've come back from back surgery. I've come back from addiction in life and almost killing myself of losing my family just like you. Except my goals now are to become champion. Your goals are to be immortal. And immortality has a price. And I will show you that at WrestleMania. Now, the question is, who goes over? Who's going to go over at the grandest stage of them all between the two greatest technical wrestlers of their era and of their generation? Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero. And you have to sit and think and be like, if Michaels wins, it just carries on the feud with McMahon. But if Eddie wins, you can still technically carry on the feud with McMahon and be like, Vince, you screwed me, you son of a bitch. And you can do that. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with Eddie with the win and have him get this win streak going and have him be like, I am one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. My name is synonymous with the legends. So now we have Eddie winning over WrestleMania. Now, what do you do with him afterwards? That is actually quite simple. ECW is just about to be started back up. You need veteran name talent and former world champions to get, and this is what ECW was going to be, was a developmental brand. And if you want that to succeed as ECW, put Benoit and Eddie in the forefront of ECW and have them show the young guys what ECW was meant to be. Between all the hardcore shit and all the stupid gimmicks was wrestling in ECW, which then became Ring of Honor, when you really think about it. So let's put these guys in the forefront and let them be the coaches and the veterans that they need to be, in the locker room leaders of ECW. And you will have no problem watching that company flourish. So yes, I would put Eddie and Chris Benoit in 06 at that ECW. Not in 07 when they tried to put Benoit in there and then, what happened happened. So yeah, I would have loved to have Eddie stay alive for 06, because 06 was a great year. And unfortunately he passed, but again, what if? And you can only ask yourself, what if? And that's what I'm here to tell you, what if. So thank you guys for watching. Next month will be another what if, and this time will be, what if Jeff Jarrett went to WWF after the invasion? Check it out.